Okay, I know. I think I wrote it in the description and I talked about it in other videos. This is not a gear channel. This channel will not be a gear channel where I talk about the latest, coolest megapixel monsters or stuff like that. So why on earth are we going to talk about gear? Do you listen to people who talk gear, or do you listen to people who don't talk the language of gear? Because I encourage you to listen more to people who don't talk the language of gear on social media and on the web. And if you're suffering from gas, I truly recommend you listen to my video, or watch this video, and watch other videos about this subject. And I don't mean gas in your stomach, that smelly kind of gas. I mean gear acquisition syndrome. A syndrome where you constantly need to buy more gear because you feel that the gear you have don't do what you want it to do. It might not be as smelly, but it might also be just as bad. Are you a person who listens to salespersons in camera stores or in consumer electronics stores? Or do you listen a lot to salesmen in disguise called influencers on social media? And one final question before I'll begin giving some answers. Do you really, deep inside, really feel or believe that you need the latest, trendiest, hottest, coolest megapixel monster gear to do photography? I hope you don't. Because trust me, you don't. And I want to encourage you to stop buying new gear. Instead, learn what you have and use it well. Because the more gear you buy, the less you have time to learn about the gear you have. So, for the sake of your bank account, stop buying gear you don't need or lenses that will become shelf warmers, camera bodies you'll never know, and in my case, camera bags that will fill up an entire closet. So I've been there. I have had the, not gas but BAS, bag acquisition syndrome. I've always found something wrong with a bag I bought and I felt the need to buy another bag. So in the end I bought a regular messenger bag and out of foam boards, or whatever they're called, created inserts for the camera, lenses, batteries and so on. And that bag I'm happy with. The rest of them are going to thrift stores. So my recommendation for you who might ask, how on earth am I going to get good at photography if I don't have the latest, trendiest, best gear in the world? Well, you can do what I did. I sold every lens I had because I had plenty. Actually, besides buying bags, I had more lenses than I needed to use and a lot of lenses that never got used. Like 70mm, 110mm, 30mm, 17mm, and the list goes on. But when I upgraded my camera and went from Nikon to Sony, I sold every lens I had and bought one 45mm lens, I believe, from Samyang. And I learned how to use that lens. I adapted my skills to that lens. And it became really fun to experiment with just one lens and not having to switch lenses all the time. From pick up a lens from a bag, put it on, put on. Well, you know the story. So my decision was buy one lens and master it and have fun with that lens. And that's exactly what I achieved. I have so much fun with that lens when I go out shooting. And it actually took me a couple of years before I bought a new lens. And did I buy the best lens for my Sony camera? Absolutely bloody not. I bought, I believe, the worst lens one can buy for money. And why did I buy this lens? Well, I didn't want the photographs taken for that project to be the best photographs ever. I want them to have this shitty gritty feel to them. So I didn't really buy a lens before I really felt I needed that lens to get my vision out of my head and to a paper, a printed photograph. This lens I bought was Viltrox. It's on there. 28mm. Super crappy pancake lens. I might even have to reboot the camera to get the lens working sometimes. But it fits the project, and that's the purpose of buying that lens. So, if you're not going to spend money on lenses, what are you going to spend your well-earned money on if you want to evolve as a photographer? Well, you can take your better half to a date. That's always fun. You can travel, go to museums, travel around, exploring, all those fun things. You can buy books. Go on to Amazon or your local bookstore to find books on photography of the field you're interested in. Or if you want to save even more money, go to the library, borrow books about photography and what you're interested in photography. Or if you like me, shoot street. Buy comfortable shoes. Comfortable shoes is almost more important than having a good camera, because you're going to walk a lot. And if you already are a street photographer, you know this. If you're a beginner, it's the best tip I can give you. Buy comfortable shoes. I've been running around in very uncomfortable shoes, which resulted in ischias pain in my hips and bad back, and it wasn't fun at all going out doing photography. But do you really need a camera to do photography? Well, yes and no. I encourage you to get a real camera. But if you want to know if you're really interested and passionate about photography, take your cell phone out. Set it in flight mode. Switch on the camera so no one can bother you while you're doing photography. Go out and photograph the things you think you're interested in. And if that fills you with something positive, you know you're on the right track. Then go buy a camera. But when you buy a camera, get a camera that fits you. Not what the salesmen say you need, but what you feel you need. A camera that sits comfortable in your hands, is easy to carry, even pocketable if you don't want to carry around the bag. There is plenty of awesome and great compact cameras out there, so you don't need a DSLR. And if you're still not sure, buy a used camera. Like Sony has some cheap digital cameras like this one. Sony, I'm so bad at model numbers. RX100. It's even rebranded by Hasselblad to a Hasselblad camera. So this little thing is actually sold by Hasselblad as a Hasselblad. And I don't recommend you buy that one. I recommend you buy the Sony version if you want to save a couple of $100. So yeah, even a cell phone camera is good enough if the photographer, you, have a vision of what you want to photograph, you know kind of how you want to photograph it, and you have the passion to do it. Then photography will be fun, and you will have fun with your photography. So instead of buying the latest, coolest gear, I encourage you to build up your knowledge about photography instead. And I think you will have more fun with that than a ton of gear you won't use. So now, if you have watched this video, I of course want to know if you think I'm right or wrong when I talk about the importance of knowledge over gear. Or is gear more important than knowledge? What do you think? Drop comments in the comments section, and while you do that, as usual, I'll start making the next video I'll torture you with, and you'll see me in that one. Goodbye for now.